Now, if you stay tuned to the end of the video, we're actually going to tell you the one place either in the country or out of the country where our kids had the most anxiety. What we always do on any vacation we go to, we always plan every other day. So one day is going to be full of activities. The next day is a chill day, either exploring, just getting lost in the city, just walking around, and then another activity planned day. So we never try to plan things back to back to back because no one wants to be exhausted by the time they get back. And then you lose interest and the kids are just like, they're done.
If we realized it real time, we actually made a video about it, is balancing the itinerary. And meaning in Thailand, when we went to Thailand, our son Carter was super overstimulated. I'm being honest, we didn't even know he got overstimulated until he was like, this is too much.
It was like a movie, like a scene. It was so funny though, but it was scary at the same time. And all I could do is like look as the doors closed and I panicked. And Jason said, hey, stop. We're New Yorkers. What do we do?
Got me upside down, spinning around.
If you have anxiety about traveling out the country with your kids, this video is just for you.
Traveling with your kids abroad can be so much fun, but it also can be nerve-wracking.
No, it's like literally we almost canceled our trip to Thailand because we were thinking about the what ifs. Like, what if the kids have an allergic reaction? What if something was to happen? Or the biggest one, what if we couldn't communicate with anybody out there? Like, what were we gonna do?
Yeah, I woke up at 3 in the morning and I was like, Jay, we need to cancel our trip. We can't go to Thailand because our kids are going to have an allergic reaction to peanuts because everything has peanuts. And Jay was like, calm down. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. So in this video, we're gonna be going over just a few things that we've done and a few basic things that you could do as well to ease your anxiety and ease your fears about traveling out the country with your kids, and also kind of help you out on things to how to plan and how to, set your days up when you're going out the country with kids. Because again, going out the country, it's a different experience, but it can be a great experience.
And in this video also, we're gonna let you know the mistakes that we made that you shouldn't make.
Let's get into it.
All right, the biggest thing we can tell you to do is when you're about to go on that trip, you already booked your flights, you're ready to go ahead and start watching some YouTube videos of families that have traveled abroad to the place that you're going to. And this helps watch it as a family. I think the kids have an easier time seeing other kids doing what they're about to do, and they feel more comfortable like, okay, they're not sick, they made it, and it kind of eases their anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, because pretty much what it does is like replace anxiety with familiarity. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I got it right. So basically what it is just seeing like different kids, or it could be anyone. It could be just anyone in that environment that which you're going to, and you can see them interacting. Oh, they picked up a leaf. Oh, they petted the dog. Wow, their dog's out there. Oh man, look, the roads look the same. Hey, the cars are going the same speed. Is that a red car? Like different things like that will just kind of get them to the fact of saying like, it's not much different than where I am.
Yes.
It's just in a different location. I think the biggest thing for us too, when we went out to Thailand, is when we were coming over Thailand and like flying into the city and start noticing like, wow, look at it, there's buildings. There's different, it's just things that, things that you would not expect like your kids to even just think about. They'd be like, wow, the buildings look kind of the same. The roads are kind of the same. They have dashes in the street. This is similar to what we were at, in Georgia. So.
Yeah, and I think for us, our kids, they were really nervous. When we told them we were going to Thailand, they were excited about it, but then they were kind of nervous, like, but do they have buses? Are the toilets going to be like, do they have a regular bathroom? Or am I going to have to squat? They were so nervous, but watching those videos of other families really helped them. So if I can't stress anything enough to you guys, please watch some videos. We have some, you can watch ours.
I know.
Of just a day in the life of like what we did. It really will help them see that it's not that bad. It's actually pretty fun,
Now, the one thing I would want to say as far as a bonus tip, try to be mindful of watch families that somewhat are similar to you. I'm not talking about you'll find videos on extreme families that are doing extreme things and your kids are not into extreme things like jumping off of cliffs into the water. They're not going to be like, no, I can't do that.
Yes.
There's no way. Find families that have the similar temperament as you, if they like to explore temples, if they like to explore nature, or if they just kind of like hanging out at the malls. Try to cater the videos to that, because it's going to help them figure out like, that's me. they just on a YouTube screen.
Yeah. And then the next thing is let them be a part of your planning experience.
Big thing.
Now,
big thing.
if your family is used to going to Disney every single year, and this is the first time, or they're used to like having those fun adventures, like they're used to going places where there are roller coasters or there are amusement parks and things like that. And now you're taking them to a place like Thailand where it's going to be more educational, or a place like Portugal where it's more for education and the experience of going, and they might not be able to have that fun that they're normally used to having. You want to let them plan. You want to let them plan some activities that they would like to do. So get them involved. Watch some videos. Say, hey, is this something that you want to do? I know as adults, we tend to want to plan the whole thing out and just like, this is what we're doing here, this is what we're doing here, here, and here. But kids want to feel like they have a part in what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's really because they're invested at that point. And I think the biggest thing that we realized, and we realized it real time, and we actually made a video about it, is balancing the itinerary. And meaning, in Thailand, when we went to Thailand, our son Carter was super overstimulated. And we didn't even, I'm being honest, we didn't even know he got overstimulated until he was like, this is too much. I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah.
He was like, the cars, the buildings,
the noise,
the rain. I was like, oh my gosh, he's being overstimulated. So we started realizing immediately the thing was to do, especially if you have a long flight. The first day, we're not doing anything but resting. We're going to just like, if you want to go outside and take a walk, we'll go outside and take a walk. Do you want to go in the pool today? We're going to just hang out and go in the pool. If you want to just order in, we're going to order in. We don't have to go anywhere. So that kind of like calms his nerves. So trying to realize that the sound starts sounding familiar. The smells are different. Okay, this is not bad. I used the restroom. I came back out. I'm good. You know, just little things, like little things. They just need to have like that thing that they do every single day. But that first day is the rest day. Yeah. We don't do anything.
Because like Jason said, we made that mistake and we knew that we should have had a day at rest, but our flights had gotten messed up and we felt like we missed a day already. And we were like, okay, we got to hit the ground running. And we went straight to Chinatown, which in Thailand, Chinatown is a lot. You know, the noises, the smells. And he was just like, can we go back to the US? Can we go back on the, you know, he was like, nah. And then it started raining. He's like, it's about to be a tsunami. And we're like, whatever. And we're like, Carter, relax. You're going to be okay. But after a good night's sleep, he was like, I could move to Thailand. I like this place.
This place is chill.
So
immediately when we went to Portugal, the first thing we got off the flight, how hectic it was the first day, we just rested. We got up when they wanted to get up. We took a walking tour. It was very chill.
It was very chill. And what we always do on any vacation we go to, we always plan every other day. So one day is going to be full of activities. The next day is a chill day, either exploring, just getting lost in the city, just walking around, and then another activity planned day. So we never try to plan things back to back to back because no one wants to be exhausted by the time they get back. And then you lose interest and the kids are just like, they're done. And you're like dragging them along the way.
It just doesn't work.
And then we also learned as parents to have to pivot. Like you have to learn how to pivot. If you realize your kid's about to crash out, you might want to stop. Stop. Stop and enjoy the moment. Go sit down, go to the park, go do something else. And again, in Thailand, we learned that as well. We were all templed out. And I think we as adults, we were like done with the temples. And I just took the kids. I realized, being a teacher, I took the kids. I was like, you know what? They need some fun. So I found an indoor play area. And I took them to play, and that was like their best experience. They don't care about the temples. They don't care about anything else. They talk about that the most till this day.
And the biggest thing, when we're going back to as far as what we're talking about, with them planning, with them being involved and being invested and having that day, it actually builds their excitement because it's no longer just the adult trip. It's everybody's trip.
It's everybody's trip.
And one thing we love to do too with our kids is like, hey, Chase, you pick a place, Carter, you pick a place, I pick a place, Brizette picks a place. So everybody, like when that day comes, like, oh, this is mom's day, or this is dad's day, or Chase picked this, or Chase picked this restaurant. So they just always feel involved rather than it just being, dragged along.
And one other thing we do as a family is for restaurants, like, especially when we're in the States, everybody writes down their favorite restaurant or somewhere they want to go. We put it in a bowl, and then that morning we'll pick out of the bowl and then see whose restaurant they get to go to that day to make it fun.
Now, the other thing we want to jump on, a lot of things people are not really talking about. Some people are just gung-ho and they just be like, oh, jet lag doesn't get to me. Where some people say jet lag is like the killer of my vacation, is to really talk about like the truth about jet lag. And the first thing we'll do is, again, just really just discuss like how you fight it, is just to have that first day of rest. Just like we mentioned, when jet lag hits, that rest is actually going to just, pretty much reset your body clock to know, okay, everybody's sleeping right now. I should be asleep. I'm going to try to force myself to go to sleep. So I'm back on regular time, especially if you're going to be there for a couple of days. It doesn't make any sense for you going against what everybody else is doing. You're the only one up at night working and, doing things, and everybody else is asleep. And then you're groggy, or you're like that animal when it comes down to everybody waking up, be like, oh, I'm so tired. Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
Try to get some sleep on the plane. I know it's hard. Like one of our kids wanted to stay up the whole time and watch movies, and he was just like, no, I don't want to sleep, because he was so excited. Where the other kid fell asleep, and then one kid, melatonin doesn't work for him.
Nope.
Benadryl doesn't work for him. We tried, and so it causes a lot of more anxiety, because you're just so tired. Your body doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So think about it, as an adult, if you get tired like that, can you imagine your kids?
Yeah.
And they're just trying to keep up with you, and like, okay, I'm trying to keep a smile and I'm trying to keep going, but they're gonna have that moment where they crash out. So.
And then number 2 is, with jet lag, just have a gentle start in day 2. And number 3, if you can, when you have that full day, just have that full day of rest, that gentle start, second day, third day, let's go for it. Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about, and this is huge, especially for us, like, security and also safety, it's just really kind of like start talking about like safety tips before you go. And one thing that what we did when we went to Portugal is just to identify a part or a place that if we were to get lost or we were to get separated, where they can go that's near the hotel, the Airbnb, etc., or who to talk to. A lot of times here in the States, Walmart is considered to be that safe place. Every time you walk into a Walmart, you're going to see that sign that says safe place, or some Walgreens, some different places. I think like a Publix is a safe place, but you'll see the sign. It's something for kids to identify where they can go in the event they get separated from their parents.
Or there's a fire at the Airbnb, anything.
It could be literally anything. So we discussed that beforehand, or when we get there, we just identify a mark. In Portugal, for us, it was the bank. The bank was literally across the courtyard. We said, if we get separated, go to the bank. We let them identify what a police officer looks like. The biggest thing is we help them realize that 911 is not the same in every country that you go to. I forget. Hopefully we got this right. I think in Portugal is 119 or 199. I can't remember.
Crazy.
It's something different. And they were like, that's different. They would have picked up the phone and just went for 911, and that's not the same. So it's not universal. So that's one thing you want to just consider. Like, you do look this up, especially in the videos, because a lot of people don't touch on the safety part. Things do happen. Not saying that they will happen, but they can happen. Just let them be prepared for it.
And anytime we go to a hotel, anytime we're doing anything, we always like try to show them, hey, if there's a fire, don't take the elevator. We got to go this way, or, meet at the front desk if we get lost. So be mindful of that anywhere you go, even if it's in the country. Hey, this is what's going to happen if we get lost. Just like you would do the fire routines at home. Hey, like there's a fire at home. Make sure we meet at the front tree. Make sure you meet at the mailbox. Make sure you go across the street to this person's house and let them know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Always have that game plan, and this is what happened to us in Thailand.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we were with our friends. We were all on the train. We were all having a good time. We got to the stop. Our friends got off. Our kids got off, and the doors closed on us.
On the both of us.
Yeah. It was like a movie, like a scene. It was so funny though, but it was scary at the same time, because all I could think about was, what if our kids? It was just the 4 of us, and our friends weren't with them. So our kids, we were panicking. We were like, oh, Carter's probably losing his mind. Oh my God, he's probably so scared. And all I could do is like look as the doors closed, and I panicked. And Jason said, hey, stop. We're New Yorkers. What do? We're going to get off the train.
And
we're going to go to the other side and go back. And I was like, you're right. So you got to take time to relax, remember what to do, and figure it out. So for our kids in that thing, we said, hey, if this ever happens and we're not with anybody, we want you to find a pole, wait at the pole, And if we're not back within 20 minutes or 15 minutes, then you can go to the where the ticket counter is, or find a police officer. Don't talk to strangers. Go straight there, because we want you to be safe, and we will find you.
Yeah.
You know, we know that, okay, they should be at the ticket counter, or we know that they should find a police officer.
The other thing that we do, and we practice this in the States at all, we don't go to the mall as much anymore, but we will tell our kids, like, hey, I'm going over here, wait here, do not move. And they start to understand, like, okay, because if the minute you start moving around is when things get lost. So for instance, if I'm looking for Brizette and we're at a store, I say, hey, I'm gonna be here. I don't move from there, because if I'm there, if she gets there and I'm not there, what is the natural thing for somebody to do? Let me go find them. And then everybody's scattered around. So we just tell them, hey, you know, at this point, I will be here. I'll wait for you here, and just do not move. Especially if they don't have any communication, as far as like the cell phone may have died or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of one thing you just want to take into consideration, is that safety aspect.
And last thing on that safety aspect, I will tell you, is when you get to a certain place, wherever you go, on hotel, Airbnb, make sure your kids are off the phone. Tell them to be aware of their surroundings, of like where they're at. Do they remember how to get back to the hotel? Do they remember how to get back to the Airbnb? Do they remember the streets they are on? Do they know the street names? Because that's going to be helpful when something does happen. They know, okay, I remember my hotel was up this street and I made a left.
Yeah.
So we tell them, get off the phones, pay attention, look around, look while the car is driving. Where are we going? So you know how to get back to where we are.
Yeah, because a lot of times you may notice, like, okay, we got on a really busy highway and now we're on side streets. We were on side streets for about how long? You know, that could give you a gauge, especially if you're trying to explain where you're at. Well, I know we were on a highway and then we got off. We're on these side streets for about 10 minutes and now we're in this city. People, locals, they will kind of understand exactly where you're at, just depending on where you're at. Like, what do you see around you? I see a whole bunch of trees. Okay, there's not a lot of trees in this area, there's a lot of trees in this area. So different things like that. Just let them just be mindful of their surroundings. And also, when you get to the location where you're at, it's just really to pay attention to landmarks, like big landmarks. I'm not talking about little things that could possibly disappear or get lost if there's a big crowd. Big landmarks. Do you see a really big sign that says Merry Christmas? Or do you see a really big statue of someone? In Portugal, there were a lot of those. A lot of the squares kind of look the same. But then you started noticing, well, this square has a horse and it has a man on top of the horse. And on this side, it was a coffee shop. But like these big landmarks, in the event that it's super duper crowded, you can identify them literally a mile away. Like, okay, well, not a mile away, but you can notice that if you're walking, like, oh, that's the area that we saw the man on top of the statue. So different things like that, you just kind of want to make sure that they're aware of.
All right, so the next one is research the customs where you are going.
Yeah, big time.
And I'm laughing because right now in this chair, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce. I'm always sitting with like my feet in the chair or something,
Bad
but
idea.
in Thailand, that is considered rude.
Yeah.
So you want to research those customs. You don't want to go somewhere and your kids, or that somebody's saying, oh, your kids are rude. When they're not rude kids, it's just they don't know that that's rude where you're going. So just be mindful when you're going places to research, to find out what are the customs like. Do people shake hands? A lot of people were so curious about Chase and Carter's hair. And in Thailand, they asked first. They were like, oh, can I touch their hair? Can I, you know, and we were like, yeah, but we realized that the head is sacred. So people don't just normally touch people's heads. So that was something to be aware of. We also let them know that because of the way they look, that people were going to be curious about them, that they were going to want to take pictures with them, because we did that research ahead of time.
Yeah.
So when it came to people asking, can they take pictures with the boys, it wasn't like a weird thing. Like, we weren't freaked out, like, oh my God. Like, our friend was freaked out. He was like, why do they keep wanting to take pictures with your kids? Like, what are they trying to kidnap them? And we had to explain to him why this was happening, you know, and it was all because we researched that ahead of time.
So again, you know, the other thing that you want to do, consider like the research is outside of your customs, outside of the things that you do like behaviorally, is research like areas or research locations that could be sacred. In this case here, when we went to Thailand, it was all about the temples and what you could wear at the temples and how you carry yourself in the temples. And honestly, some temples were different than the other. They would
Yeah.
allow this versus that. So that's one thing we just had to make mindful of. Luckily, there was someone there, but kind of like, just guiding us along. But when we were watching videos, they let us know like, hey, you can't show this, you can't show this. Your shorts can't be above the knee, especially if you were a female.
Yeah, you can't have strapless,
It wasn't happening, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I don't like walking around places barefoot. That just freaks me out. So I did research and I was like, oh, you have to take your shoes off in a lot of the temples. I'm going to pack a pair of socks
Yep.
in my bag. So when I would get there, I would just put my socks on, walk around, because those are things that just make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about as far as the anxiety when it comes to your kids traveling outside the country is to start listening for the signs. Brizette touched on this earlier. You could see you should know your kids, hopefully by now, and you'll start noticing like the spiral before it happens.
Yes.
There's certain things that you may notice like, something is about to happen. If they start talking about a certain thing, or they start getting really aggravated about a certain thing, or they start mentioning things over and over and over again, you're like, I think a spiral is about to happen.
Yeah.
So just really listen to the signs and start pivoting like we were talking about earlier to where, I think they're getting tired of this. I think we should do X, Y, and Z. Hold a family meeting if you need to. Even if they don't even understand what's going on, if they're really young, you and your spouse or your significant other just have a meeting real quick. Like, hey, I don't think he's going to make it through this next excursion. What can we do? Or ask the tour guide, like, hey, on this next stop, is there somewhere we could possibly just sit? And once they say, yeah, I'm like, okay, we're probably going to just be sitting over here for this one. We'll meet up with you guys later.
Yeah, I think that makes it more enjoyable for you and your kids, because then your kids know that you listen to them.
Yeah,
and
big
that their
time.
feelings are important and valued. So Jason's really good about this with our boys. He kind of knows. He'll tell me right away. He's like, babe, I think it's time for us to go. Yeah, I think it's time for us to go.
So
And
I'm
I'm
ready
like,
to go.
why? And then once I say why and I try to push it, and then I realize, ooh, we should have left 5 minutes ago, because we're not going to make it. And he's also good about knowing which kid will kind of run into the, not pay attention. That's
Yeah.
our kid who so Jason's always with him and nearby if he needs to grab him before anything happens, and we've had a couple of times where we are. It almost happened.
It almost happened.
And
It almost
also
happened.
with that, we want to tell you to make sure you're just planning those trips and having those quiet moments again. I can't stress enough, quiet time, relaxed time to unwind, because it'll make it more fun.
Yeah. So the other thing we want to talk about, the anxiety part, we want to kind of move on to something that's a little bit, happier as far as like the benefits of traveling, out the country with your kids. And it really just kind of opens them up and also helps them with their gratitude, because different countries have different customs, and different customs also have different ways of just showing gratitude. In this case, when we went to Thailand, they realized how humble everyone was in Thailand, and they started noticing, and this is no shade at all. They just start noticing that there's not really a lot of things that's needed to have a great life. Meaning, and this is what I mean by that, you don't need the biggest SUV or the mega mansion. You don't need any of that stuff. I'm not saying that we have that, but I'm just saying when we went to Thailand, we started realizing that people were just happy just to be walking outside.
Yeah.
They were just happy just to be hanging out at the mall with their friends. And whereas, mall culture here is not as popular, but we were noticing teens,
wow.
they were just having such a great time just being amongst friends. And I think that was something that opened Chase's eyes up. He's like, wow, this is different. The Bangkok is really busy, but people really just enjoy the fact of just being out there. They enjoy life. Yeah.
And then we realized, we were like, you know what? We can move to a small apartment because we don't need all of what we have. We were like, wow, we had just enough space. We had just enough what we needed. And it made us really appreciate, maybe we need to downsize some things. We don't need all of these things that we do have.
Yeah. The other thing, one of the biggest examples I want to make, and I don't know if you remember this, when we were in Chinatown with Carter and Chase and everyone, there were kids that were playing, and their mom and dad were running one of the restaurants, and the kids literally were running back and forth just playing, understanding that they were off of school, because we saw their shirts and they still had their uniform patch on. But what I mean, they were just playing with the ball. outside it was really busy, but they were just playing with the ball back and forth. And I noticed Carter was just looking. He was like, "Wow!" The kids were having such an amazing time. It wasn't at a mega park. It wasn't at one of the bouncy houses. They were literally just having a great time, the brother and sister with each other. And it just really, from that point, kind of like just again solidified the fact that hey, you don't need much. And I know I keep saying that, but you don't need much. But other countries, when you go and you realize this, like, wow. Yeah.
And I'll also say too, I was really nervous about going to Thailand because our trips before had been so much fun. Like we've always gone to an island. We've always gone somewhere where there's like an amusement park or just so much fun activity like horseback riding or ATVs. Like we are that family that has, we like to have fun. So I was really nervous that they were going to just be so bored. I was like, oh my God, we're going, but they're going to be bored. We're spending all this money. And now they're like, where are we going next? You know? And that's where Portugal came into play. They were like, okay, great. And then now they want to go to Spain and they want to go these other places. And then they have an understanding that, yeah, there might not be an amusement park, but we get to learn so much, you know?
Then the last thing that I would say that we do encourage our kids are just to ask the questions, and I really like the fact that, Chase will ask, actually not Chase, but Carter will ask a lot of questions like, why are they doing it that way? Or why does that look like this? Or what is he doing over here? And not in a rude way, just out of curiosity. So welcoming that curiosity, especially when you're in different countries, and especially if you've done research as the adult and you can actually just help them with that. So it's not like saying, I don't know. And then they come back saying they were doing some weird stuff over there, but you actually have some reasoning behind it. I think that opens their eyes up more to the travel and, experiencing that later on in life as well too.
And I will say one more thing is that you do need to talk to your kids about the religion that you're going to.
Yeah, big time.
And it was really a fun experience. We went to the Big Buddha and Chase got to have an experience with the monks. And it was just such a cool experience for him to have that.
The last thing we'll talk about right now is as far as like your packing, because again, that for us, was huge to try to say, will we have everything that we need? Being small-minded at times, you're like, well, they don't have EpiPens there. They don't have Advil there. But then we started researching. There's a lot of things. There's things everywhere, medication. But in some countries, honestly, the medication that we may take here in the U.S., it's not allowed over there.
Yes.
So we had to be really mindful of that.
With our EpiPens.
Yeah, the EpiPens were big. It had to be the
name
EpiPen,
brand.
the name brand. It couldn't be generic. And also, I think the other thing was, I forgot, was it Tylenol or Benadryl? One of the antihistamines. To be honest, it's not allowed in Tokyo.
Yeah, and we were going to do a layover in Tokyo. That was the biggest problem. Thailand was fine with all the medication, generic or whatever. They were fine. It was we were going to Tokyo, and Tokyo was like, you have to have the name brand EpiPen. You can't have Benadryl or something. You can't have this. You can't have that. And we're like,
Claritin. I think it was Claritin.
Something.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh gosh. So like Jason said, just be mindful, but always pack your stuff. Like we pack EpiPens, we pack I wish I had our bag. We have this bag that we take with us and it has Tylenol, EpiPens, Benadryl, Motrin, because we know our kids have allergies and we just have to be prepared just in the event.
Just in that. And then outside of that, to ease their anxiety, especially on long flights and such, like pack comfort items, comfort things. For Carter, it's Taigi. I wish we really had Taigi right now to let you know. Taigi has been around the world.
Taigi goes everywhere with us, and I think I have a little clip of Carter. We were on the train going to Merida, and we realized he had Taigi. Now, normally, I guess we could show it. It'll be okay. But normally, Taigi is only at home when he's going to sleep or whatever. But Taigi is just like his emotional support animal. He brings Taigi. I think he must have been nervous about going to Merida because he didn't know what it was going to be like. So Taigi was on the way there with him. On the way back, Taigi was in the suitcase.
Yeah, he was like, I'm good.
I'm good,
So just be mindful of your kids. Your kids. If there's comfort items that they do have, pack it. If it's games and such like that they really like playing, give them that opportunity to play it, because again, you don't want to throw them in a completely different country and then strip everything of the norms that they know, like ease it in. So we noticed that with Taigi, we noticed that with their Nintendos and such like that. No, we're not saying they're going to be on their games 24/7. No, not at all. We're in a different country. We want you to experience it, but
it's more for the flight.
Yeah, just for the flight.
Yeah, just more for the flight, just so they're comfortable.
The final thing we want to say, as far as like to the anxiety portion, you've led up to the trip. They helped them plan it. You all the way through. Is when you're at the trip, just document the journey together. Meaning, are there landmarks that you guys said that you guys want to see? give the kids the camera, let them take the photo, or you give them your phone, let them take the photo. Because what this does, honestly, is for the next big trip that you have, they'll start looking at the past memories. Like if you have an Amazon, like Alexa in your kitchen or wherever it is, they're constantly looking at those photos, knowing that, oh man, I took those photos, or oh, those memories are so great. I can't wait to make more memories moving on. In our kitchen, we have one of the Amazon shows, and our photos are constantly rotating there. And it's always a reminder to them, like, oh my God, we had so much fun at that mall. Do you remember when we had that mango sticky rice? Or do you remember that steak in Porto? It was so good.
Oh, they talk about that steak
all the time. But I think instead of having the memories hidden, showcase it somewhere. But for you to do that is to allow them into the journey when you guys are there, to document the journey as well.
Yeah. And another thing we do is we always find an ornament. And this is something like, and they will tell us, like, if we're getting close to the end, we didn't find our ornament. We got to find an ornament. And this helps us when it comes to Christmas time and we're putting up the tree. We have all these cool ornaments. We get an ornament, something that's special to that place. If we can't find something like Thailand, we couldn't find an ornament that we like. So we found little elephants and a tuk-tuk, and we put string on it and we made our ornament. We write the date, the year, and, you know, something on there so we remember that. And it just makes it so special because, again, it brings back those memories, and then it gets them excited. Like, where are we going next? Like, we had so much fun. And we have stories. So we're putting up the tree and we pull that ornament out. You know, it could be Cancun. And I'm like, remember we were in Cancun and this happened. The story is always in Cozumel. We bring out that ornament. Carter, remember when you fell into the cactuses? You know?
He's like, stop bringing that up. But it's funny. It is
funny.
Hilarious. It's hilarious.
So find something that you guys like, that you like to do, and make it that memory, because it'll be fun. All right, so right now we're going to tell you the one place that we feel like our kids had the most anxiety, either in the country or out of the country. And it's really not their favorite place. Now, I have mine written down. Jason has his. We haven't seen each other's. We haven't seen it. No, not at all. So we want to see who knows their kids best.
Oh, yeah. So let me grab mine.
All right. And then we're going to hold it up. We're going to count to 3. All right. You ready? Okay. Don't cheat.
I'm not going to cheat.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. What'd you put? What?
It was.
No.
It was.
New York.
No,
my kids hate New York.
No, well, it depends. It depends.
Where in St. Martin?
St. Martin, when Carter saw the whales in there, that's the most anxiety he got.
No, but we're talking about, like, I'm talking about, like, they do not like, they don't like going. Okay, I'm gonna explain why I say New York.
Then I'll explain why.
I don't think he knows his kids. First off, so every time we had everything planned out for New York, we were like, we're gonna go to the city, we're gonna go see the Lion King, we're gonna get on the trains, we're gonna go to Rockefeller Center, we're gonna go have dinner, and we're just gonna make it a fun time. We get on the train on the platform. We're gonna take the Long Island Railroad because we know, like, the trains, they could be a little bit much, you know. And we had this experience with Chase before, you know, the homeless people, the smells of the train. If you know New York, you know New York. You know. So we said we'll take the Long Island Railroad. We get onto the train, the door opens, and then there's this guy on there in the elevator, and he's really aggressive, and he's like, you got money, and and the kids were freaked out. And then we get to the city. That's fine. We go see the Lion King. We get there. Afterwards, we're going to a restaurant, and another homeless person comes up. And in New York, you know, other countries, they don't really bother you. In New York, they actually, you know, they'll come up to you and they'll ask you for money and stuff like that, or just the smells and the sounds. And Chase is like, I'm ready to go. Can we just go back to Grandma and Grandpa's house? He just didn't like it. So anytime we go to New York, they don't really want to go to the city. They rather just stay in the house.
Or just drive.
Or drive around, but they're ready to go back to the house. So that's why I say New York, because they're not like, we have to be mindful. Like, every time we go to New York, I'm always like, hey, you cannot say hi to everybody. You cannot, like, this is not Georgia, you know. So we know to put a game face on. We know, like, keep moving and keep walking, but they don't know that. So so they like other countries because they're so nice and friendly, where New York is a little bit more rough and tough, and they're not rough and tough kids. So.
Yeah. All right. So that was her read. St. Martin was a little bit different because, again, Carter, which is a beach kid, thank God right now that he's over this fear, or he's getting over this fear, is that when we were in the water, we did witness we don't know what it was, but you know, people were screaming shark, and I didn't hear that, and I was still in the water, and it really freaked him out. I was still in the water. Everybody's running out the water. There's 3 big black blobs that's going back and forth that he can see, or silver. I'm sorry, silver that he can see, but I couldn't hear him, or me and a couple of other people couldn't hear them screaming. So that really just freaked him out as far as going in the water. And additionally, the other thing was like kind of moving in and out of the resort when we were in the taxis and such like that. The fact of the matter is, like, you know, what they were hearing and, you know, things like that on the resort, the music that they were hearing on the resort, and also, you know, the different things as far as, like, you know, the accents that they were hearing, and, you know, they weren't used to it. That's why I was saying the anxiety. But now I really think about it, and you just told that story about New York, I think it's definitely New York.
Yeah, because and then my mom in New York, she wanted to put them in camp, and they were like, they went to a camp. It was just not a good experience. So
anyway,
New York. Exactly.
So hopefully this video helped you guys out of helping your kids travel out the country with anxiety. If you know somebody, I'm knocking the mic. If you know anybody who's going out the country and they travel with small kids and they do have some anxiety, send them this video. Maybe the things that we talked about could possibly help them, or leave a comment below and let us know the things that you do to cope with the anxiety with your kids, or even the anxiety for yourself if it's getting on a flight or going to a different country. What are your coping mechanisms? Hopefully this helps.